Welcome to Film on Tape, a free audio library for creatives in film and television. My name is Misha Calvert, and I've worked as an actor, writer, director, and producer for many decades. I had so many questions when I was first getting started in New York, and I just wanted fast, free answers. That is what this library is for. The work that you do as a creative is so important. I really hope that this library is going to help get your work out there. Film on Tape is sponsored by Vermilion, a coaching and educational company for creatives. You can learn more at clubvermilion.com. Welcome to Building a Brand, Part 2. We covered Part 1 last week, where we introduced the concepts of branding and marketing, how they're different, and how the whole thing can feel like a party, and how know, like, and trust are going to be your three best friends when you're trying to build your brand. Today, in Part 2, we're going to continue the building a brand plan so that you feel like by the end of this episode, you know what to do. You know how to build your brand and meet the world as a working artist. So let's pick it up with step number 6, which is to create emotional connections. And this is one of the key points that salespeople get really, really good at. You're going to be good at it too, because if you're in the performing arts, it's like what you've been doing since you started. You create emotional connections. You're an emotional athlete. If you're an actor, this is your superpower, being able to connect emotionally with a character, with an audience. This part should come pretty easily, but basically you want to use storytelling through your brand in order to connect to your audience. Story is one of the fastest ways to connect to an audience. Why? Because scientifically, it bypasses the logical part of the brain and it goes straight to the emotional part of the brain. People don't buy products because it's the logical, rational thing to do. They buy products or buy into a celebrity or they become a fan because of an emotional response. You could even say something incredibly logical like home insurance or car insurance. We don't buy it usually because it's the logical thing to have. We buy it because we're scared that if we don't have it, something bad is going to happen. It's usually a fear response that motivates a lot of sales. It can also be an envy or a fantasy response, like the joy that you project onto the future you of having the thing. When it comes to like artists and celebrities, there's a lot of other emotions that go into why somebody connects with you that aren't necessarily logical. We're going to use this for the powers of good, not the power of evil, right? We're here because we're artists and we want to create a better world. We're going to use emotional connection to our advantage. Now, how are we going to do that? First thing is you want to care about your audience. You want to care that there's people out there that you want to connect to and that you are curious about them. You want to uplift their lives. You want to put a smile on their face. The point of what you're creating in this world is that it's going to make the world a better, maybe more allowing, more accepting, more loving, more laughing kind of place. So whatever the good you're trying to create in the world, it's going to be benefiting people. When you're interacting with your audience, you want to interact authentically with them. This emotional connection is going to happen if you're honest about who you are and you're really showing up as yourself and not doing some awkward face or voice because you're uncomfortable being really seen. You want to get over that as quickly as possible so that you can just be yourself like you would be in a house party with your close friends, right? That's who your audience wants to see. If you're building your brand through like social media marketing, for example. You also really want to focus on your audience. I say a brand is 50% what you like and 50% what the market will pay for. Well, you have to know what that 50% of the market is. Who are they? What are they going to respond to? What do they like? What are they going to laugh at? What's going to resonate with them? What's going to be relevant to them? Sometimes I go to film festivals and I see films that are made by people who are, maybe like 2 generations separated from me, or basically like men in their 60s is what I'm talking about right now. And a lot of times their movies just really don't resonate with me. I'm not their audience. And, I find that the films that do a bit better in the indie film festivals are resonating with younger audiences because society has really moved at quite a fast pace. You have to be caught up in what's going on and where we're at as a society. So something to bear in mind is you're creating content of see what else is out there and see where we're at as a culture and see where you want to place yourself within that timeline of cultural advancement. If you can find a way to show up authentically, center your audience, and really care about connecting with them, then they're going to trust you. And trust is one of the 3 points of the trifecta: know, like, and trust. If they can know, like, and trust you, they're going to buy in. Point number 7 is leveraging influencers and partnerships. This is key. It's so important. You just get so much bang for your buck if you know how to do this. So you want to collaborate with existing brands. And existing brands can mean literally your friend who has twice as many followers as you. That may not be a lot. That may be like 1,000 versus 500. But that's double what you have. So do a video with them. Do a photo shoot with them. And make sure that you are tagging them and that, maybe they're a collaborator on the post or they're reposting it so that you have access to their audience. It elevates your brand to be collaborative and to be working with other people. I mean, think of all the musical collaborations that we've seen now. It's like ubiquitous, right? No one is really working solo anymore. Everyone's trying to collaborate with everybody. All the fashion hybrids and collaborations. So it's just a really good business practice. And then also their audience is then going to know who you are. If you can piggyback on the brand that other people or other organizations have already built, it's going to be only basically a good thing. I mean, don't do a partnership with like Andrew Tate or, somebody like at a certain point, it's just not worth the following for certain kinds of people, like as if I even need to say that. But yeah, just be mindful of who you partner with. For the most part, it's going to be a good thing, right? Another thing you can do is piggyback on viral trends and things that are in the media cycle. Why? Because everyone's already searching for that thing in the moment. And if they find you, that's really going to increase your numbers. So actually, Ryan Reynolds created a whole marketing company around this idea where they take things that are trending in the news and they can turn around a spot for it within a matter of days. I think I read even like 24 hours. Instead of taking a product and finding a way to make it relevant, they're taking something relevant and then attaching a product to it. It's actually pretty genius, and he's made a lot of money doing that. You can reverse engineer it that way by just taking topics that are already trendy or audio that's already trendy or songs that are already trendy and then creating something around it just to get the hits. And, hey, it works if you don't mind working that way. Step number 8 is to gather data about your branding and your efforts and be prepared to pivot. You have to evolve. You have to iterate. So you can track performance with analytics. You can look at your Instagram traffic. You can look at your TikTok, your YouTube. Like there's all sorts of analytics, your Vimeo analytics. And you can also get like in-person feedback. You can ask people how you're coming across or, you can focus group it. I love focus groups. I do them all the time. And really pay attention to the data, really analyze it. And if you start to see patterns, you have to respect the data. You have to respect the market. I like to say that, just respect the data and respond accordingly, right? You could think that it's the best thing ever, or they have what's called the mom test where, your mom thinks everything you do is great, but your product or your performances, your work as an artist, it has to pass the mom test so that not just your mom thinks it's great. Everyone has to think it's great, or, a significant enough amount of people that you've really got something. Believe your customers, respect market data, and also this is kind of a weird point, but remember that your top moneymaker, or the thing that you end up making a living off of, it may not be your favorite thing, and it may not also be the thing that you believe delivers the most value. But that's okay. The thing that you make money from, you may be like in your head, God, these people they're really overpaying for this. Like, this isn't worth what they're paying me. And that's okay. You let them tell you what it's worth to them. And meanwhile, like your other thing that you think is worth like $10,000 a piece or whatever, like your most valuable artwork, the performance of a lifetime, and like no one wants to go for it, that's okay too. The market doesn't always agree with where your value assignment is. And honestly, it might be a marketing problem. It might be the way that you're marketing it to your audience and packaging it a little bit differently, or maybe tweaking the craft on it a little bit differently. That might help get a better alignment of your valuation of it and the market's valuation. All right, the final step is monetization. So you're building a brand because you're a business and you want to make money. So how do you do that? Well, your pricing should be commensurate with your confidence. So don't be scared to offer in the beginning pro bono or discounted products or services, especially when you're trying something new. Now, if you're in the startup world, this is almost a joke of like how many companies offer their service for free to basically everybody. It's like, okay, at what point are you actually going to start charging money here? The answer is you start charging money when you have the confidence to start charging money. And that's a leap, right? I am so excited to tell you that I'm launching a brand new slate of classes that are incredibly helpful on my website. Some of the classes include on-camera acting technique and how to self-produce your own film, actor self-care, which is something that nobody talks about, and how to write a feature film in 10 days, which I'm going to teach you how I did it and how you can do it too. And believe me when I say I poured my heart into these courses. Go to clubvermillion.com. I am so excited about this website. I can't wait to work with you. There's going to be a series of leaps that you're going to have to make where you're like, oh, this feels just like 5% uncomfortable for me to raise my rate from $0 to $10, or I was only charging this amount before and I'm going to increase that by just a little bit now, and that makes me uncomfortable. That's okay. As long as it's enough discomfort that you don't have a complete meltdown, start getting used to being uncomfortable and taking gambles on yourself so that bit by bit you can inch toward what the market actually is willing to pay for a service or a product that is of a high caliber. Because as your confidence is growing to be able to charge more and more, theoretically, your service is going to be growing in quality as well. The confidence piece is really important, and also the development of the product, the service, or the art is also very important. And you want to try to grow both at once. So a tip for making good amount of money in a short amount of time is to use offers. Offers, discounts, they create time scarcity. And if you can make people think, oh, I have to act now because tomorrow this is going to be unavailable, that really lights a fire. So deadlines like that do work. And if you have like a time-bound sale that you want to offer, depending on, obviously this is a little different for actors, but I say like to actors who are first starting out, email everyone in your film network. And if you're, for instance, non-union and you really just want to get some projects under your belt or you want to get some more footage, say for the next 6 months, I will work on any project for free. I will act in anything for free, whether it's stage or screen or what, you set the parameters. But that way you come into it with both an offer and self-respect. Because you say, I'm trying to build my footage right now and I would absolutely love to work with you. And guess what? I'm not going to charge you. So you can consider something like that. As far as how much your product or service is worth in the market, you want to try and figure that out. How? You look at the competition. You look at what people are making in the rest of the market. And if you don't like what you see, it might be time to jump markets. It might be time to look at a different geographical market. It might be time to diversify and go, let's say you've only been doing live action. Maybe you want to venture into voiceover because there's still work there. Or maybe you want to start doing more theater because that's available to you and, AI can't really touch theater yet. Think about how you want to adjust to the market and how your branding is going to need to adjust in order to meet that new market or markets. I tell this to people now who, as we continue to go into a global marketplace for filmmaking, and studios are now shooting more often outside of the US than within the US for a lot of their big budget productions because it's just way cheaper to shoot outside the US. Consider Do you have a second passport? Do you have friends who can help you to get a visa and lodging? Do you have plans to marry somebody who's not American like me? I haven't met anybody yet, but I'm just saying that that is my plan. If you're an actor, try and think about what other markets besides the market where I currently live are available to me, and how can I start to infiltrate those markets? So remember, all of this still has the ability to feel like a party. You go to a party, you're going to be creating emotional connections, hopefully. You're going to leverage your other relationships. You know, if you're friends with the life of the party, yeah, you're definitely going to want to hang out with them at the party and like let people see that you know the funny one. You want to gather data. So if someone's like, yeah, you've had enough to drink, like I think it's time to go home, you got to listen to them and you got to take your cues, right? And, you know, the only place where it really falls off is the monetization. I've never been paid to go to parties. I know people who have, and maybe that's just a different episode. Maybe we're just not quite famous enough yet to have that conversation on the podcast, but I would like to have that episode soon. Here's some essential business tips when it comes to building your brand. You want to consider your capital. So most small companies have capital going into the beginnings of their company, whether they're bootstrapping with their own money or it's friends and families. At a certain point, most small companies take on investors or loans because it's tough to launch a business without it. It's really tough to just be like slowly creeping along self-funding, which is yet what most artists do. And that's why it's so hard because, quote, regular companies, they're getting capital infusions from other people and other organizations typically. And that's really how they thrive. I forget the stats on Amazon, but they were in the red for like 4 or 5 or 6 years, something like that. And like not a small amount. They were operating at a loss year over year, like in the millions. And they had backers. Initially, I think it was Bezos's friends and family that were backing him at the very beginning. And then he took on some Wall Street investors, I believe. But it took, again, like 4 to 6 years for that to turn into a profitable business. And of course, now, you know, it's a Goliath, but just bear in mind that that wasn't a profitable business in the beginning. You are a human being and you're not superhuman. You have limitations on your time and energy. And if there's a way to get some capital infusion to help you through this process, you know, keeping your eye on the prize of this is going to be profitable one day. And who are the people that are going to believe in me now so that they can give me the resources I need to really get this train moving? Something to think about, that maybe you don't want to be trying to do this all yourself. S Corps and C Corps, that's like a legal structure. They do have major tax incentives. So a lot of people like to start an LLC for tax reasons. I prefer corporations. If you're able to do that, it's going to protect you financially and legally. Legally, if someone sues your company, they can just take everything that your company has, but they're not going to necessarily take what you personally have. So that's just an added protection. And then tax-wise, there's a whole lot of helpful things that happen when you have a corporation. So I really do recommend it if you can to start a corporation. And finally, who are you delegating to? Like I said, it's tough to do this alone. Are you working with some co-founders on this? Like if it's a production company, do you have collaborators like performance partners that you work a lot with, that you film stuff with? If you're an actor, do you have a director that you absolutely love who's like an inspiration? You're each other's muses. Do you have interns like I do? Do you have an assistant? Do you work with online freelancers or mentees? Or are you paying people to mentor you or to teach you in classes so that you can get supported and get resourced in your journey and learn the info that you need to learn? Here's a few essential mindset tips to keep with you as you build this brand. And this is going to be really annoying because I know you've heard it before, but this is going to change everything. If you can create and distribute your art every day for 30 days, you will watch your life transform. That art could be dancing, sculpture, photography, film, acting, writing. It could be anything. Almost nobody has that consistency. It's like this, like a triangle, like the number of people at the top who can consistently daily create and distribute daily is very small. It's very small. Please believe me. So if you can just simply get to the top of that triangle and be one of the very few, like 0.25% of people who actually are creating and distributing daily, you are going to see results. I promise you. Another mindset tip is to think about, what if your audience needs you more than you need an audience? What if your customers need you more than you need your customers? It flips the whole thing, and it goes from I need money, I need views, I need likes, to God, there's a lot of people out there who could really use this content. And it puts you in a position of helping them. And that responsibility is going to create better work. You're in a position to serve, to help. So it's just a good reminder to kind of reframe it like that and literally turn the tables 180 like that. I find it helps me to have more energy, more courage, more persistence. It's just a good thing. And one final mindset tip that's really helpful is to set goals for execution and not results. You can control the former, you can control execution and outreach, but you can't really control results most of the time. So if you set those goals for how many people am I reaching out to and how am I executing on this, that is going to lead to higher confidence and a better sense of control versus you can't really control the results, so don't even try, right? Measure your success based on your outreach and your execution. In closing, here's an invitation. Take some time to create a blueprint for your brand for the next 7 days, the next 30 days, and the next 90 days. I am so serious about this. If you can stick to that blueprint for 90 days, you're probably going to be making money by the end of that 3 months. And that's it. You won't have time to listen to this podcast ever again because you'll be too busy working and making money. If you do end up making a blueprint for your brand and you want to share it and it worked, please DM me at Misha Calvert on Instagram and let me know that it worked, because we need success stories of artists who are taking their brand seriously, who understand that they're participating in a market, and also that they're showing up as human beings, as real people, combining the two and making magic. I've loved talking about branding with you. I could talk about it all day long. It's so fun for me. And I just want to thank you for being in this conversation. I really hope that it helped. And I can't wait to talk to you again next week. Thank you so much for listening to Film on Tape. If you like the way that I approach the industry, check out our other classes, consulting, and mentorship at clubvermilion.com. Vermilion is a home for artists and those looking to expand creatively. Whether you're an actor, a film professional, an entrepreneur, or a CEO, we'll help you find your voice and hone your skills to thrive in any market at any scale. You can schedule a free phone consultation at clubvermilion.com.